guys, welcome back to my channel. This week I'm going to be talking about the 3 types of editing you can use prior to publishing your novel. Writing is not a solitary task, but a collaborative effort. The first draft and the several drafts that come after may be crafted with the door to your office closed, but eventually you're going to need to open that door and you're going to have to invite others into the process. The feedback, critiques, and advice from other writers, readers, and professionals are going to help you see the flaws in your work. We are often blind to the weaknesses in our own writing. Our excessive use of filter words, repetitive phrases, or redundant sentences. The plot holes we chose to overlook, then crossed our fingers in the hopes that others wouldn't see them. A novel contains multiple moving parts, so it's really easy for a writer to make a mistake. This is why editors exist, to help writers turn good stories into great novels. If you are fortunate enough to deal with a traditional publishing house, then your manuscript will go through multiple rounds of editing as part of the publishing process, and these will all be conducted in-house. If you are interested in self-publishing, however, it's really important that your novel be properly edited and that it go through multiple stages of editing. Don't fall into the mistake of thinking that just because someone's buying your book online that they aren't an intelligent and well-read individual. Readers are savvy and they don't want to pay $2.99 for a novel that is actually a first draft. Readers want good stories, and if you are a self-published author, it's your responsibility to make sure that you are putting forward the very best version of your story that you can, and that book is professional and of a really high quality. This means your book needs to be edited. However, before you go sending your manuscript off to the first person you find online, it's really important that you understand the different types of editing that are available. And by the way, if you are serious about being a writer, then you should hire a professional editor for all 3 types of editing. There are 3 types of editing: structural editing, copy editing, and proofreading. You may have to hire different editors for all 3 stages, or you may find an editor who offers all 3 services. A word of advice, however: if you use an editor for the structural and the copy edit, it would be very wise to use a different editor for the proofread. Why? If you use the same editor for the structural, copy edit, and then proofread, they're going to be too familiar with your work, and they too may become blind to any typos or flaws in the manuscript. Therefore, it'd be really wise to maybe work with one editor for the structural and copy edit, and then use a different editor who has not seen your work do the proofread. That way, your manuscript is being edited with fresh eyes. Okay, let's get on to the structural edit. The structural edit focuses intensely on the novel's core drive, that being character and plot. Typically, a structural editor will read your entire manuscript while taking careful note of how each element of the story is working. They will analyze your work for consistency, believability, and effectiveness with a particular focus on really big picture elements such as voice and style, plot, pacing, timeline, characterization, story arc, and character arc. Some structural editors may also provide feedback regarding the manuscript's potential target market and its overall marketability. Structural editors will provide a report that analyzes the quality of your manuscript. This may take the form of a letter that discusses the manuscript as a whole, or they may provide a chapter-by-chapter breakdown. Either way, the report should identify any plot holes, inconsistency, lack of tension, pacing issues, irrelevant characters, scenes, or plot development, the believability of your characters, whether the work is engaging, and any areas of confusion, especially if you're working in sci-fi or fantasy where there's lots of world building going on. Please note that structural edits do not focus on your manuscript on the line level, I mean a sentence by sentence level. Instead, the structural edit is looking at the big picture, how the novel is working and hanging together. For this reason, the structural edit should be the first round of editing that your manuscript goes through. The second round of editing is called the copy edit. Copy edit, or what some people will call a line level edit, focuses on the manuscript on a sentence by sentence level. Here, editors will look for problems regarding grammar, style, repetition, word usage, jargon, filter words, dialogue, and any unclear character motivations. The copy editing phase should not occur until the structural edit has been completed. After all, there is no point in perfectly polishing a scene that you later realize is completely redundant and has to be removed from the manuscript. While a structural edit is usually presented as a report, copy edits are presented as in-document critiques using track changes. The final stage of editing is the proofreading stage. Once all the large structural issues of your manuscript have been fixed and you've carefully examined every sentence for clarity and quality, you can then move on to the final round of editing, which is proofreading. Like I said earlier, if you use the same editor for the structural edit and copy edit, it may be wise to hire a different editor who is unfamiliar with your work to do the proofread. It never hurts to have a set of fresh eyes, especially when it comes to editing. Proofreading is the lightest form of editing as it focuses on minor errors, which is why this is the very last round of edits that your manuscript will experience. A good proofreader will look for minor errors in grammar and style, capitalization and punctuation, as well as spelling and word usage. You may be tempted to skip the proofreading stage, but please don't. You've already put so much hard work into the polishing and editing of your manuscript. The last thing you want to do is receive an email from a reader who's highlighted all of the silly typos and errors that were missed during the copy editing phase. Now, I also wanted to speak a little bit about critiques. Critiques are not a part of the editing process, but they are an essential tool at a writer's disposal. You can pay a professional to do a formal critique for your manuscript, but you can also approach other readers or writers willing to critique your work. Critiques focus on the major issues in your manuscript, and a good critique partner should focus on big picture elements such as voice and style, plot, pacing, timeline, characterization, story arc, or character arc. A good critique partner can provide feedback on your manuscript as a whole, or you can get them to provide chapter-by-chapter reports that focus on elements such as plot holes, inconsistency, point of view, dialogue, description, too much or too little. Areas of confusion, again, this is particularly important when it comes to science fiction and fantasy, and a good critique partner may also highlight sensitive or ethical issues or any other issues that could harm your chance of publication. Critique partners are a vital part of the writing process, and you can approach people to critique your work at any stage of the drafting process. Before you hire a structural editor or look for a professional critique, it would be wise to exhaust all free resources at your disposal. This includes using beta readers, critique groups, and critique partners. This way, your manuscript is in the best condition it can be before you invest in professional feedback. There you have it, guys. Those are the 3 types of editing your manuscript should go through prior to publication. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to my channel. Know that you can always follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I also have a website, taraeast.com, where I post weekly blogs. If you sign up for my newsletter, you'll not only be notified as soon as I upload, but you'll also receive a short story as a thank you. I hope you've had a really productive week, guys, and I'll see you next time.